Well, it is a Saturday and I am in the office. It's going to be a busy week for our law firm in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. We had Thanksgiving on Thursday. Like I said before, I was sick for the Thanksgiving holiday. Spent the day at home, spent the day at bed, but snapped back pretty well on Friday. And now I'm back in the office at full speed on Saturday. Now, I came up with a blog article regarding Jim Irsay and his drunk driving incident, which occurred in 2014. And I wrote the blog article following an article that was written, I believe it was on ESPN, regarding what had happened to Irsay, and he had been interviewed, and he had indicated that he believed that he was targeted for being a, quote, white billionaire. And I read the article, and I couldn't it just had to stop and just think about it for a second. In some ways, I think being a white billionaire actually saved him from a more serious criminal charge. Now, when it comes to the DUI, there isn't a question that had he gone to trial, he would have been convicted. He had chemicals in the system, and even though they were legally prescribed narcotics, what most people don't understand, and what Mr. Irsay probably doesn't understand, is that you can be DUI or DWI with legally prescribed drugs. DUI and DWI, both in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and in a state like Indiana, all require impairment and the inability to drive a car or a vehicle safely on the roads. If you have those elements, that can establish DUI or DWI. Now, that impairment can come from drugs or alcohol. Alcohol is a legal substance, and drugs can be a legal substance as well, either prescribed or over the counter. But you can be DUI even if you take Benadryl, and that Benadryl impairs your ability to drive safely, then that you are committing a crime, and that is probable cause to be arrested both in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and everywhere else. Now, in Mr. Irsay's situation, police stopped the car because of some traffic issue. He was driving slow, and they thought that was suspicious. That is probable cause, because if you're driving under the speed limit, you are actually committing a traffic violation. And also, the police can investigate, even if you're not necessarily committing a traffic violation, they can investigate based on the fact that they can believe that the driver is perhaps impaired or acting suspiciously. So that gives them at least probable cause to stop the car. Once the car is stopped, they did find drugs in the car. Also, according to reports, Mr. Irsay's presentation looked like he was impaired. The field sobriety test, he said that he failed them because he had recently had surgery, but his lawyers probably told him that he wasn't required to take those tests. And even if he had failed those tests, his lawyers at trial could have done a lot to dispute the validity of those tests based on his physical limitations. What would really get him at trial would be the admissibility of the blood. I didn't see anything in the article that would lead me to believe that the blood report would be inadmissible. So once the blood report's in and the officer's testimony regarding Mr. Irsay's presentation was in, he would have been convicted, whether it be at a judge trial or a jury trial. I believe the prosecution would have been able to establish beyond a reasonable doubt that he was impaired and unable to operate a vehicle safely. Now, with regards to the other charge, the actual drug charge, now he had $29,000 of cash, which is a lot of money in cash, and he had drugs in the car. If he wasn't Jim Irsay, I believe he would have been charged potentially with possession with intent to distribute. And the prosecutorial theory would have been, he's a drug dealer and he had just completed selling his drugs for the day, and those were his profits, if you will. And they would have found more drugs, but those drugs were on the street. Now, obviously, the defense could have argued they didn't stop a buyer, there was no observed transactions, but circumstantial evidence, there's enough there to, I believe, to at least charge him. Whether or not you're convicted of it, I believe that he probably would not have been convicted of it had the case gone to a judge or jury trial. But I believe his celebrity status, the fact that he's a billionaire, and to someone like that, $29,000 in cash really isn't a lot of money. But to most people, I would say about 99% of people, that is a substantial amount of money. But for someone like him, whose team is worth over $4 billion, $29,000 really isn't a lot of money. So with that said, if you have questions about DUI, DWI in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, 215-755-9000 in Pennsylvania, 856-793-7429 in New Jersey, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The website, gambleandwell.com. As always, a tremendous resource for you and your family. All my books, my blogs, my videos. I'm going to link in the article that I wrote on the Jim Irsay incident. I'm also going to link in the article that I read, that I wrote on just a hot topic that I think is important to know during the Thanksgiving holiday, the 5 ways to really mess up your holiday season. It's a fantastic article. But once again, if you have questions, 215-755-9000 in Pennsylvania, 856-793-7429 in New Jersey. Have a great Saturday. I'm glad that I'm feeling so much better. I'll talk to you all very soon.